Hello, everyone. My name is Marvelous Kirantan, and I'm here with Covered in Roses, where we give you your roses right now on earth. We don't wait to give it to you. We honor you right now and the beauty that you bring into this world. So today, in lieu of Latinx Heritage Month, I'm sitting here with three beautiful, powerful Latin women, Trissa, Lexi, and Jasmine. Who are here to share their experience and their love and they're happy for their culture. So, tell me, guys, first of all, let's do the icebreaker. What is your zodiac sign?
I am a Libra. The
Okay.
scales.
Your birthday's up this month.
It's coming on Tuesday, October 5th.
Oh,
Nice.
one day after Joe.
I am a Leo.
Ooh.
Fire.
Fire. Yes, definitely fire.
I'm a Pisces.
Okay, come on, water.
Water.
All right, so starting with Trissa, tell me about yourself and your ethnic background.
Okay, so I was born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. I am Puerto Rican. My parents were both born in Puerto Rico, and my siblings and I, there's four of us, and we were all born in Manhattan, but raised in the Bronx. And I have only left New York to leave to the military, and then once again to go to Charlotte for an endeavor for my husband, and had to find my way back home, which is New York.
Right.
Because there's something about my culture here that I just haven't seen anywhere. Even if I go to Miami, it's just not as much as in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing like being here and having the comforts of home, having the comforts of finding Goya in the supermarket, or a good cup of coffee for $1 with a piece of bread. There's just certain things that really remind me of my childhood that when I heard that they were opening up the flagship, I was like, Nordstrom, you got to get me back home.
Right.
And so I'm back here, thank God, and serving this wonderful, beautiful city that I call home.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you, and I'm glad you had time to spend in my hometown, which is Charlotte.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we both came back. Well, you came back, and I came too. You know.
You're welcome.
All right, Lexi, tell us about yourself and your ethnic background.
Hi, so my name is Lexi. I am originally from Jersey City, the Heights. I was born there and moved through my high school years, moved to Pennsylvania. I am a child of 4, but have 3 stepbrothers. So we grew up in an apartment in Jersey City on Baldwin Avenue, 6 of us in an apartment. My dad and my mom, we're from Honduras, Central America.
Yeah.
They're both from Honduras. We're both immigrants. And my father helped my entire family come here from Honduras. I was born and raised here, but the culture has never left me. And I live now in the Bronx. I was originally living in the Lower East Side for many years, my single years.
Right.
I got to marry my husband, basically my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
We've been together 22 years,
Mm-hmm.
but been married for 8 years, and I have triplets,
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
2 boys and a girl.
That's a little fun fact.
Yes. And I think that every day of my life, I just continue teaching my children about our culture and who we are. I do it through music. I do it through food. I do it through the Word of God. So I think that is rooted in me. And we did try to move to Pennsylvania a couple of times, and we always ended up back in New York.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's also a New Yorker, but I concur with what has been stated. It is nothing like New York. The vibe, the food, just the culture, the happiness.
Yes.
I think that us Latinos are very fortunate that we have grown up in a home, whether it's a family of 6 in an apartment, but there's always been love and joy. And I think that is taught to us, as we were talking previously, as children, and then we carry that along with us. And then we bring this happiness to this beautiful place.
Right. You share it.
And it makes it all greater. I mean, and the fact that Nordstrom is definitely, talking about Latin Heritage Month, HR sending out emails of Latinos and who we are as a culture. I think it's very honorable, and I mean, I am very blessed to be Latina, but I also honor Nordstrom's for doing that.
Yes.
It's very impressive. I put it on my Instagram, and all my followers have wow, you work for a company like that, which is great. So,
Yes, we
great
love
to
it.
be a part of.
We love to see it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Jasmine.
With that.
I am Jasmine. I am Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico and raised out here in New York. I've been here since I was 2, so it's been a roller coaster of fun times. I love the culture. I love the busy streets. I love how you can go to different parts of New York and it can be quiet, which is kind of hard for New York. New York is not known to be quiet. I'm a family of, I'm the youngest one. My sister is old enough to be my mom. My mom and dad were, my dad is a black Puerto Rican and my mom is a white Puerto Rican. So that's why I come up in this complexion. As well, I was born in Ponce. Ponce was actually the original capital of Puerto Rico, but then it became San Juan. Just to give you a little background of Puerto Rico, the reason why we have 1 star is for the island, and the red is for the warriors that died during the in Puerto Rico, and the white represents peace. As well, we have our cookies, which they actually took them out of Puerto Rico, and they're now living in. Some of them are surviving in Hawaii. I don't know how, but fun fact. As well, the reason why the Cuban flag looks like the Puerto Rico flag, just because Cuba was actually the original people that made the flag for Puerto Rico. So they just reversed the colors. As well, and the blue for Puerto Rico represents the sea. Just in case you didn't know.
Yes.
And pina coladas come originally from Puerto Rico.
Ooh, we love it.
We love
pina coladas.
Way back.
Something for you to know. I love my country. I love where I come from. It gives you pride. It gives you joy. And the reason why we love representing our flags, because it used to be banned and we weren't allowed to represent our flags in Puerto Rico. So that's why we go all out and we make sure we show everybody where we're from.
Exactly.
Qué bonita bandera.
Exactly. There you go.
Next our
Sister
right here.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, what adversities have you faced as a Latin woman in the industry?
I think thinking because we're strong women, it seems like we always have an attitude, but we don't, which is very prideful, and we love where we come from, and we just always have to stand our ground and where we're coming from, and just represent that we can do it all.
Right. Exactly.
I can share that it's unfortunate that this is the stigma, but it doesn't come across as though Latinos continue their education. And so I, in my own career, have come across some people where I started off going into the military, like I told you initially, and then went into college afterwards. But there would be some people, especially if I brought up that I was from the Bronx and combined with being Puerto Rican, automatically I would get classified into something where I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. I probably don't have any money. I probably have 5 kids, which I have 4. But I probably have 5 kids living in an apartment, which I, like Lexi, was a family of 6 living in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment. And I'm proud of it. My parents are still there. And they own the apartment and been owning it since 1970 something. It's similar to your story where I have a black Puerto Rican father and a white Puerto Rican mother. And during those times, he had to use her to get the apartment because he wasn't able to. So there's always adversaries that come out there. But the biggest struggle is just the potential that we may not be educated enough to handle something. which
Right.
isn't true. Where we're known as a very fun culture, and we are a hypersexual culture, and I'm proud of that too,
Same here.
of being a woman. But there's more than that to us, and so we're multifaceted and beautiful people, and we like to have fun, and we prefer that than the confrontation. So get to know us.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
exactly.
yes.
Get to know these firecrackers, okay? Because they're more than just fun, okay?
I'll blow you away.
Well, I've been in the industry for quite some time. I'm, like I said, I've been in Europe for quite some time, and I've worked in flagship stores.
Mhm.
I've worked at Bergdorf Goodman. I've worked at Barney's. I worked at Prada. So many Italian companies, and some of these stores, Bergdorf Goodman, when I started my career in retail as a manager, a lot of people would say it was very intimidating to walk in, which in fact it was. You would walk in as a Latina or an African American, and right away they would look at you like, are they going to buy? And you know what? I took a chance and I said, you know what? I'm going to apply for a job. So I did apply for a job. Through the grace of God, I got it. But I remember, joining the company, and we would have meetings once a week, and we all came together in a room just like this, and I was the only Latina in the room. Everybody else was white or Asian. All of my buyers were Asian,
Right.
and I was only Latina. So I kind of looked around the room, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. Being a New Yorker and being a Latina, and I can't believe I'm the only one here. I was treated differently for quite some time, but I think as Jasmine was saying that everybody always thinks that we're angry, or we have this attitude. No, I think it's assertiveness.
Mhm.
Our parents teach us to stand firm, and we have the advantage of knowing two languages,
Right.
being beautiful people, of in the soul in everything that we do. And I think people are a little intimidated by that.
Yeah.
And I took it like that. I walked those floors. I ran a $40 million business,
Mhm.
and I made it successful. I was promoted 3 times. And it was a great experience. And I speak about it to this day because a lot of people feel that way still to this day, walking these department stores and feeling like they don't belong.
Yeah.
I worked at Prada. I was told I had to push my hair back every day. I couldn't leave my hair down. I couldn't show my curls because it was just too much. It was too much for them.
Right.
And there's a couple of things that were said that was a little bit out of context, and I brought it up, and I was like, well, that's not correct.
Mhm.
It didn't allow me to have my personality that I have now. I wasn't able to approach clients the way I wanted to. I was told that I was too loud, and I would say, no, I'm passionate, not loud.
Right.
So I think that there is a misunderstanding of our culture and who we are, and I think passion is definitely one of the things. The other day, someone said, "Tell me 3 things about yourself," and I was like, you know what? I'm driven, I'm passionate, and I care. Love is like the biggest thing for me, because love conquers all. And the world that we're living in right now, the times that we're living right now, that's all we need to do is just stick by each other, because we're all brothers and sisters no matter what.
Right.
And it has been a struggle, but I continue to stand and be here and continue to run my business and
As you
continue to
should.
do what I do best.
As
in
you
and out.
should. As
So,
you should. So we can all agree that love is what's going to really break those walls down and change that narrative amongst us
Yes.
as people.
I agree.
So who or what is your biggest inspiration in life?
I would say in the Spanish culture, I would say Selena. She unfortunately passed away at 21. She was killed. But I love how much she conquered at 21 years old, and she had the most important thing, which was love that you mentioned, and her family was very, very involved.
Yes.
It just shows how if you put so much dedication in something that you want and you put passion behind it, you can make anything happen. And her dreams were endless. Oh, I'm full of goosebumps.
Oh.
And I mean to piggyback off of that, like her presence, even though it was short lived, was so strong that even to this day, kids like me that watch the movie in school, like we fall in love with the then Selena,
Yes.
you know, and it's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, I mean, that question can be,
Endless.
yeah, endless. With artists, I think that I spoke about him. I think Mark Anthony has always been in my family and everything. I mean, I call him my flaco because that's what he is. But he represents the Latin community, and not only is he this great artist that has albums and albums and awards, but he also helps out the Latin community. He helps out. You know, he believes in his Latin people, and he also has other people that he looks up to from back then. You know, the salsa singers back then, and he represents them. And you know, he's a great man. He's a great man of God as well. And you know, he does a lot of charities, and I think that he doesn't lose himself in because he's like this big icon, this big artist. No, he is this humble guy. I got a pleasure to meet him when I lived in the Lower East Side. Humble guy. You know, he will sit with you. He will have dinner with you. Like he's an amazing, amazing human being. And you know, I think that we all need to remember that, you know what, regardless of where we are in our lives, we need to remember to just be humble and, you know, help out as much as we can. So I think Mark Anthony is definitely someone that I've always looked up to, besides my mother.
Yeah.
Besides my mom.
Right. So mom and Mark Anthony
Yes,
share the stage.
yes.
For me, it's Walter Mercado.
Oh, wow.
He is someone that I saw every single night before going to bed with my mom watching Spanish TV. And for those that don't know him, he was a magical person that he would offer the zodiac signs for the evening, and then he would always end the different signs with like, you know, mucho amor y mucho paz para todo el mundo.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he wore makeup, he wore capes like Liberace. You didn't know if he was gay or if he was straight. He never had a partner. It was never publicized. You didn't know what he was, but he was magical and he was fabulous. And everything that came out of his mouth was just like, I just love, and I love the people, and I wish everyone just beauty and love.
Yeah.
And as a Libra, that's something that I resonate with deeply. But I also resonated with just that hope that he gave everybody at night. And with their signs saying like, you know, and if you're this, you know, this might happen and it's okay. And he would just turn it around and, you know, like, you know, like, but you can make it through. And so he is also Puerto Rican as well. Not that matters, but, you know, just a little fact. But him definitely. If you've never heard about him, I think there's even a documentary about him. His name is Walter Mercado.
And they were selling his capes for they were like
Wow,
doing
really?
auctions for his cape. Yeah, when he passed away. I think he passed away like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Something, but everyone in the Latin community, I mean, they praised this guy because you grew up seeing him on TV.
Every
which is amazing.
single night.
You used to
without
rush
fail.
home and you weren't allowed to talk because there was no DVR at that time. So you had everybody in the house to shh.
Walter Mercado. Check out that documentary.
Yes.
What is your favorite quote to live by?
In Spanish or in English?
Both.
Okay, so in English it's keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
And I heard this a long time ago, and I didn't understand what it meant, but I loved it. And then I remember when Facebook came out, I was like, I'm gonna put that because I loved it since high school. And it's really just that, is to keep your life simple. Adding all this other stuff can create chaos. And growing up, because there was so many of us in one apartment, and this is carried with me now in my adult life. I have like very few pairs of shoes, very few jackets. I don't need to accumulate so much because I grew up without having the space to accumulate so much.
Right.
So I have my favorite jacket, and that will last me for a decade because that's my jacket. And
Right.
so keeping it simple just gives a certain kind of essence to things where it removes all this extra hype or these options where you really get to like, this is what I need, and you don't need all this extra stuff. So that phrase, I try to bring it in my mind constantly when I'm moving about in life, where just let me keep it simple, especially when I start to get some kind of anxiety, like, okay, what is the focus here? Let's stick to that. Because anything other than that is stupid,
Right.
unnecessary.
Exactly.
And maybe the best quote, which I don't know if it's a quote, is bendición. It's something that every Latin person says, bendición, Dios te bendiga, which is an exchange that Latin people do. And it's just like what she did to that stranger, which just blessings. No matter what, blessings your way. I hope God gives you blessings. And we mean it when we say it. And it's also a thing where if you arrive to any family member and you don't give it or ask for it, why you didn't ask for your blessing? It's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, bendición, Dios te bendiga. So that is something that I like to bring with me also, because I think that's also important.
Yes, I love that.
So my two favorite quotes is one of the Bible that says, "Love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't envy anyone." I definitely feel that resonates within me because, you know, everything, you have to have patience with everything that comes to you. And, you know, when you love, you don't envy anyone because you show them nothing but love. Also, that was also written on my husband's watch when we got married because, you know, he was patient with me. We were dating, but I didn't want to have a relationship, and it kind of became our quote in the Bible, which he was very patient, and he never envied anything. You know, he was just giving me my time. And then I would say my Spanish quote would be, "Dime con quién tú andas y yo te diré quién tú eres."
Ooh.
That means tell me who you are with, and I will tell you who you are.
The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yes.
In other words.
Yes,
Exactly.
basically the apple. Yeah. My
Wow.
mother always told us that because she always said, surround yourself around positive people. Surround yourself around loving people. Surround yourself around help people out when they need to be helped. And do not, because when someone sees you, they're going to their representation of you. So try to be that person. Try to be always around positive people. That's when they say, "Dime con quién tú andas y yo te diré quién tú eres."
Oh, wow.
And that has always been a quote for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So good.
That's interesting. Her being from Central America, is that not part of
Yes,
in
that's
the
what I was like.
Caribbean culture
That's
too?
it. I was like,
Oh,
they
my
have
mom said that too,
words.
so I guess it's just
Yes, you know, South America, Central America, I think our Latin countries, the culture just kind of, you know, it just all blends in. I mean,
Yeah, it
we're
blends
a
together.
family.
Mhm.
We're a family. You know, and like I said, we're brought up that way with these quotes, with the music, with just the dinners, you know, the laughter, the jokes, you know, the cries, you know, and we all cry together. Yeah, I can definitely, you know, testify to that. We all cry together as brothers and sisters, no matter what. You know, if someone goes through it, you go through it with them.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah, it's true. Well, the Spanish quotes, they both got them, so I don't have any. English, I would say what comes around goes around. So, and pay it forward. So treat people how you want to be treated. And no matter what you're going through in life, just make sure that you treat people with as much respect as you can, because some way, somehow, it's going to come right back to you. And it's going to come back to you in the moments that you feel that you're at your best, and then you're wondering why things are happening. Because at one point in your life, you did something. So what comes around goes around. And
Yeah.
Spanish change, you guys both got them.
Right. And I'm gonna write them all down in my book and live by them, okay?
Got you.
Awesome. So, Cut this part out.
Thank God for the editor.
Right. What is some of the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think that one of the advice I always go by is lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
As a leader that I am, whether it's at my job, whether it's in my home, whether it is in front of God, I have to lead by example because that's a representation of me, right? In this industry, if you're going to ask an associate or an employee or anyone to do something, you need to do it as well.
Exactly.
Right? Because you have to lead by example, and it'll give them the motivation to move forward, to do what you're doing. Because, regardless of our title and who we are, we're not better than anyone.
Correct.
You know, you walk in and you do what you have to do. I clean toilets. Yep, I clean toilets. When there's a leak, I take care of what I need to take care of. It doesn't matter. And I think that's one of my things, is always leading by example.
Yes.
In everything I do, my testimony, everything. It's a part of me.
Right.
So I walk in that.
I love that.
Yes.
Servant leader.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I am.
I think the best advice that I was ever given was, when times in my mind aren't right, rather than coming up with a reason or a decision, the best thing to do is to write it down. And so I'm a huge fan of just notebooks where it's just dumping stuff that's in my head, because if I give you a visual of a computer screen with many tabs open, because there's all these things that are going on in your mind, it can create a chaotic environment for you to make a good decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it's time to make a good decision, the best advice is, how are you feeling? And if you're feeling good, go ahead and make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not feeling good, you need to write some things down.
Okay.
Because you need to release whatever might be in your mind to clear the space to be able to make that decision. Because in a chaotic computer screen, you can't really do nothing. It starts getting glitchy, right?
Right.
So that's the same thing for your mind too, and you want to just be able to dump that there versus dumping it to a friend
Mm-hmm.
or a partner. And then you can always revert back to those books and be like, wow, what was I thinking that day? Or maybe I could work on this. Or and there's something to it, connecting your handwriting to your brain visually.
Yes.
So that's one of the best advices that I've gotten, as to continue to be successful, is to dump my brain into a book and not necessarily to, someone that didn't deserve it, to be able to make a good decision.
Exactly. Write it down, make it plain.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The two best advice I've gotten is take a step back and overlook at everything. So actually, when I had my first rally in the store on Saturday, Marvelous was walking, being himself, and he's like, "What are you doing all the way back here?" I was just like, "I want to take a full scene of what's going on." He was like, "You know what? I like that." Because if you're up too close, you're only going to see what's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a step back and you see from a distance, you get to see everything. So always take a step back. And taking a step back doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It's just overlooking at something. And as well, just take a moment. Since we live in such a busy state, just take a moment for yourself. Breathe in, and be careful what you project out. So I love that, because I think that's something me and you have in common with the writing down. So it does wonders.
Yes.
It does wonders. And like she said, you can start paying attention to like how your handwriting's going or how aggressive you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it releases so much energy. So just take a step back, reflect.
Yes.
Right. And you didn't know it at the time, but that really resonated with me when you said that, because I normally spend most of my time at the front, and I only see what's in front of me. But when you step back, you get the full picture in the whole. Like, you get to experience the full energy of everything rather than just the people right in front of you.
Exactly. Because there's always something going on behind
There's
you.
always something going on behind you.
It's true. No,
It's a different perspective.
It's a different
Yes.
perspective.
Yeah.
So it's not always bad to be last.
Right.
It's sometimes a blessing.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's definitely a
That's
fact.
fact.
Yeah. So Latinos, we always want to look at the positive of everything because there's a positive and negative in everything in life. It's just how you want to see it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, who is your favorite person in life?
I'm my favorite person. I am. Even though I'm a mother and I can do everything I can to work hard in raising them, I've spent so many years working on myself, and I only have control on what I do. And so because I can decide which way I want this story to go, because I'm the main character of the story of my life, I choose to be the main star and not be in the background of the story of my life. And as soon as the story starts to not be the story that I want in the script, I change that story. And I say, cut, hold on, change the pieces,
Right.
and then go back. And I love myself for that because I taught myself to get rid of negative self-talk when I would stand in front of the mirror. Working in beauty, I teach women that come to my counter and men, whoever, to look in the mirror. There's a lot of people that don't want to look in the mirror. And I like to teach people to get comfortable with themselves when they're putting their clothes on or they're putting their makeup on, and connect to you, to who you are, because you are your greatest gift, because you are the one that's navigating this body, and you have the choice, whether you think it's out of your hands, there's a choice you can make. And so choosing that for myself, I like to exemplify that to other people. So I'd like to say I'm my favorite person.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. My favorite person, I would say, I know it sounds probably cliche, but I would say it's God. I think that as a child, I've always had moments where I struggled with certain things, and I always used to close myself in the bathroom and pray to God. And I feel when I'm lost and my mind is foggy, or I am stressed because I have 3 children coming at my way at the same time, and things, just life is happening, I have to take a moment and I have to say, wait, where am I going? Like she says, if your mind is foggy, you can't move. And I find that every time I meditate, every time I pray, every time I put on my headsets and listen to the word or listen to worship, because music is my thing, I find direction and I find clarity. And I'm thankful for that, because I feel like there's so many outlets in life that you can go, and some people love to buy designer bags, and that's their thing, and they love it. And some people are crazy about shoes, and they love it, and that makes them okay, and it makes them happy. But I feel that the peace that I get upon me and upon my family really helps me guide my life, and has helped me every day of my life. And it's funny because I was just saying this to my daughter the other day, that whenever she feels a certain way, that she needs to pray. And she's like, really? And I tell her stories, and she's like, really, mommy? And I was like, yes. And I'm a true believer. I'm not just saying that just to make a big thing out of it. I'm saying it because it's real.
Oh yeah,
It's real in my heart. If I do not spend that time, I'm nobody. I'm not that person. I also believe in, when I do interview for positions, I make it known that this is my priorities, and I let it not, whether I get the job or I don't. These are my priorities, and if my life doesn't work this way, I'm no good for you. And I feel as long as I set my priorities correct, I can follow my path, and everything will go well because of that trust, and because of what I believe in, and that peace that I find. And I can find it at 1 o'clock in the morning when everybody's sleeping. And I will go ahead and I listen to a lot of worship music in Spanish. I love it. It does something to me. It moves me in such a way that the English worship music doesn't. And it's really, and it goes back to the culture. It goes back to that move. Also, my grandfather was Pentecostal, and there were stories that he told us back in our country. Third world countries always have a story. Things that he fought with all his life, and that's always with me. And I'm just like, wow. So I feel that that's my outlet, and that's what really like moves me.
I love that. I love that. I'm about to shout.
Praise the Lord. Amen. That's right.
That's awesome. Favorite person? I wouldn't have a favorite person. I would say, if anything, I would say humans. Just because you can learn so much from the person next to you, from the person in front of you, and the person behind you. Just because when someone's in front of you, you get to see how they treat other people, and the person next to you, you get to vibe with that person and see if you're in the same level, or you can learn from each other. If the person's down, because Latin people, we love to help each other. So I'm a true believer. If I'm up here, I'm gonna help everyone that's down here because I was here. And if you're up there, how are you going to stay up there? Because I want to make sure you stay up there. And the person behind me, you get to learn how to take care of your back, and you learn and you live through cultures. So I think like just human beings overall.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I love that. Woo. I'm full now. It's like,
No, what's your favorite Puerto Rican meal?
Yeah, what is
What's your favorite Latin meal?
Yes.
that is my next question. What is your favorite Latin meal? It is. Speaking of transition.
Mine is camarón pongo. So camarón pongo is basically you need a mortar and pestle.
Okay.
And a wood one would be the best instead of metal. And you basically soft fry plantains, the green ones. And then you put it in the mortar and pestle, and you create the shape like a cave in the mortar and pestle, and then you just stuff it with garlic shrimp until it's overflowing. And then you put that little garlic ajicito sauce on top.
I'm hungry.
Wow.
Honey, and a pina colada, you're done.
That description alone.
Yes.
Camarón pongo, ask for it.
Right. Pat, look after this.
Well, I have many favorite dishes, but I think that the one that we grew up with they're called baleadas. Baleadas in my country, you make tortillas. So you either make tortillas with flour, or you make tortillas out of corn. So my mom makes it with flour, and she spends a lot of time making it. So when I visit her, she comes visit me. She wakes up in the morning and she makes it for us. So they're tortillas, so it's made out of flour, and she makes refried beans, and she makes them and she like crushes them really well, and then she puts it over the tortilla, and then she gets some Central American sour cream, and she puts it over the tortilla, and you can eat like 5 of those, and it's so delicious. And then what she does, she actually grabs the same dough that she uses and she makes fritadas. Fritadas is from the same dough, but she cuts little lines through them, and she puts them on a skillet with a little bit of oil, and she toasts it, and then she puts syrup over it. So she makes both of those. When we see her or she comes over, she makes it for my kids and myself, but we grew up on that. So they're called baleadas. I mean, there's tons of Spanish food that I love. From ceviche, from a lot of things, but that is very traditional to our family, and we love it.
So what is the difference between South American sour cream and American?
It's very so American sour cream has no flavor. It has no flavor.
It doesn't.
But you can make it to have flavor.
Okay.
So you put a little bit of milk in it, and you put a little bit of salt, and you mix it.
Okay.
So you get that taste. It tastes a little bit like the South American and Central American
Okay.
crema,
Okay.
which we call it mantequilla in Central America, but in Puerto Rico, the mantequilla is the butter.
Mm.
So it's that's a little different. But mantequilla for us is sour cream.
Okay.
So if you want to make your own, you get sour cream, a
make
little
my
bit of
own
salt, a
mantequilla.
little bit of milk. Yeah, and tortilla, you know. I'll get you a little. And tortillas are so easy to make as well. You just need to know how the consistency of it, and you make it, and they're delicious.
Love it.
Yeah.
You ever had in your culture Johnny cakes?
Johnny
Never had Johnny? Okay, because that's a similar term of making like the dough in ham that you. But if you've never had it, then it wouldn't be a good point of
We'll have
reference.
I will use some tortillas.
Yeah, please do.
I have many dishes that I love, like pasteles, empanadas, arroz con gandules,
Yes.
pernil,
Oh,
jamon,
yes.
which is ham. But I love empanadas just because you can fully load it with so much things. I make one of the best empanadas. Maybe during Thanksgiving or for Christmas time, I can make some. I make it with like a sauce on the inside because I like when you bite into it, you have something moist. But you know, you can make it with chicken, you can make it with anything you want inside. And then, you know, I have a little secret, you know, how you can bake it, you know, to have like that nice crunch when you bite into it. Some people like it soft. I like it nice and crunchy. And it's just soothing, you know, at home, just taking it pastel and just, you know, with the fork, and you just making a little, you know, I think that was my job when I was younger.
Taking a little knife and
with the fork, yeah. So
I love that.
I love empanadas.
You can make your own empanadas too.
I know, because they're so simple, but I was introduced to those when I first got to New York because I never had them down south.
Ooh.
I never had them, but I went to Empanada Mama's here and I saw the menu and it was like 1,000 different types of empanadas.
It's still not the same when they're made at home.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
When someone personally makes them for you at home, it's just totally different. I feel like those are like fast food empanadas.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you offered, so I'm going to hold you to it.
Oh,
It's an
and
empanada.
okay, I got you.
Yeah, and
Me
empanadas
too,
are
please.
also
I'll take two.
empanadas are also made very different in Central America. In South America, you have Colombian empanadas that are made very different from a empanada in Puerto Rico or empanada in Honduras. You know, their dough that they use is very different than what we use, and so you need to try all of them.
I do.
Peruvian empanadas too are very different. So if you have a little taste of all of them,
So
you have some
put together-
tapas, you know.
Right.
I could give you a good like shortcut. In any supermarket in the city, go to the freezer aisle.
That's so
And
true.
Goya got a package that says Goya Discos.
Yes.
D-I-S-C-O-S.
Yes.
Discos.
Yes.
You gotta thaw it, and then once you thaw it, that kind of breading is kind of more like how the Caribbeans do it, where I don't know. I feel like I grew up not calling them empanadas but tortas,
Okay.
and they were longer. But you can fill it with cheese. You can fill it with guava and cream cheese. You can fill it with whatever you want. Just thaw it out, put it in the fryer. Saves
Yeah,
you a lot
to
of work.
go.
Okay, so let's go ahead and organize this Latinx.
Yes.
Where are we doing it?
Right.
Yes.
So, what drives your happy? What
drives
makes you happy? And what drives it?
I would say it's what Lexi said a bit ago, and so it's my spirituality. So I was raised Roman Catholic. I no longer practice Roman Catholic, and spirituality lies within me, and I'm grateful for my upbringing. I personally don't subscribe to an organized religion because of certain things. But I do remember if a family member passed away for 9 days, we were praying. I do remember on Christmas, we had a cake for baby Jesus. I do remember going to church 3 times a week. And it was just something where I was like, oh my God, we gotta go again. But that they instilled in me allows me to be able to be a free spirit spiritually because I took from it what I needed, and that is in me on a daily basis.
Exactly.
And so I would not be able to perform like she said if I do not have that in me, and it just comes out, and I can't help it. Like even when I mess up, I'm like, "Ay Dios," and it's just something that I think our culture just says because we include God in everything, in every single thing. When we're cooking, when we're cleaning, when we're walking, where I'm literally like talking to God, like I'm looking like a crazy
You're in
woman
the shower
because I'm scared at what's in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, we're walking and it's okay, and you got my back, and I'm thinking of the footprints prayer, and you are walking actually, and I am in your arms, and putting that with me whenever I'm scared, whenever I'm happy, whenever anything happens, that is at the core, which is my spirituality. So that makes me happy.
Yes.
I agree. I concur. I think yes. I think that my spirituality, and I can attest to what she just said, where we were brought up in a Catholic church, and I did my first communion and my confirmation, and I remember kneeling down and praying the same prayers every day, and I was like, I have to do this because my parents want me to do this. But when I found myself and I moved to New York, I found a great church, and I just built that relationship with the Lord. It was about me and Him. It wasn't about religion. It wasn't about anything else. And so what drives me is God that pushes me through, and people. People drive me. Like, I love to interact with people. Like, Nordstrom has world class, which one, basically, what do you see as it being like something favoring you? I think I said it's customer obsessed, just because I love people. I genuinely do. I mean, even that lady that I was talking about, like, I was just like, okay, have a blessed day, whatever I said to her. But I really love people. I find myself talking to everyone. I want to know how you're doing. I want to know how I can help you, because I feel people's energy, and I think that's a gift. Yes. I don't think that just comes, and people can say that, but that's a gift. I feel people's energy when they come in, and they're good morning or good afternoon. I'm just like, what's wrong?
Right.
Is it okay? Like, can I help you with something? And they always offer, what can I help you with? Because there's nothing that us human beings, as people, can't help each other with. There's nothing. And when you put God first, everything else falls into place, because He gives you the strength to keep moving forward. And I feel that in my heart of hearts, and that's how I can be in retail and be a mother of triplets and be crazy, just because I have that guidance. And my friends tell me all the time, "You're not loca. I don't know how you do it." And I'm like, girl, please, And of course, I have a great supportive husband that he does the world for us, and he's very involved. But that's what drives me. And that's why I've been in retail for 20 plus years, because that's what drives me. It's clients, people, I can't sit in an office and look at a screen all day. That's just not me. It's easy. It's easy. I can probably get a job anywhere in an office, but that's just not.
It's not you. It's not who you are.
Yeah, it's not. So,
I got you.
What, Bob? Okay.
I'm so happy.
I'm a very spiritual person. I was brought up God first, me second, and then everything else falls to play. Of course, as well, love. Like we said earlier, love drives. It can go so far. And when you're a people person, if you can't do retail if you're not a people person. If you're not a people person, stay home.
Yes.
Do something else, because it's called retail therapy for a reason.
Yes.
So you need to connect as much as you can and be the best version that you were the day before. And you can't do that if you're not in tune with your inner self, your inner child, your higher self. And there's so many levels to that. So just God first, you second.
Awesome. When I tell you I'm so full spiritually and thinking about the food, it's too much going on right now. It's too fire, okay?
What about the dancing? You know how to dance?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Can you do a salsa, merengue, bachata?
Yeah.
I can do a little spin, a little two-step at the same time.
Yeah. He caught me the other day. When we started. I was just like, what? He was just like, what's wrong with you? I just had a moment.
Yes, music is a big part of our culture as Latinos, and it makes us happy. Yeah. I mean, I was always in dance since I was little. I remember dancing to Michael Jackson and having my whole family at a birthday party, just putting me in the middle of the floor. And I remember my mother told me in Honduras, when I was little, I used to grab my grandfather's hat. This is a story, it's a true story. I used to grab my grandfather's hat. I used to put it on the floor and I would start dancing and everybody would just drop money in the hat, and then I would come to her and give her the hat, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And the lady, one of the viejitas, one of the little ladies down the street would be like, "Your daughter's dancing, and they're giving her money." So my mother says that story all the time, and then she tells my kids are like, "Mommy," and I'm like, I don't remember doing that, but music has always been. I dance salsa, merengue, bachata, cumbia. I dance, I dance punta. Punta is a traditional dance in Honduras, and you dance with your hips and with the tippy toes,
Right.
and you're constantly going, and it's a good workout too. Some cardio in there, it's a good workout. But I was always a dancer, so I love music. And I dance for the Lord too. So I'm like,
I know that's right. Okay. Well, that's right.
You want to hear something interesting? When I was growing up, and I would invite, my parents would always be like, invite all your friends over to the house. And every time I would invite my friends over, all of a sudden this bag would emerge with all these instruments. And then all of a sudden, we're a band.
Right.
We're going down. And any friend that I would bring over for the holidays would be like, oh my God, you guys are just like playing, where we would have wooden instruments, simple instruments. I'm not talking about a guitar or anything like that, just really simple instruments and just a cappella singing and going to town. But there's one thing that if I hear this instrument, I'm compelled and my body just moves, and that is the drum.
Yes, of course. Yes.
I hear a drum somewhere and I'm like, where is it?
It's
true. I gotta dance to this drum. Oh my God.
It's just like a calling.
Yes,
It just draws you.
I'm like, where is that drum? I gotta go right now. Another little fun fact.
Awesome. So, in 3 final words, wrap up how you feel about your culture and the Latin community in the 3 final words.
I would say proud. I'm excited, and peace. Those 3 words are a big part for my culture because there's still some work that needs to be done in this world for our culture. It's massive. I think we're the 2nd largest language in the world, and yet there's still so many things that need to happen. But I'm excited because people of my culture don't give up.
Exactly.
So I can't wait to see what's coming. And as long as we do it peacefully,
Right.
we're gonna make it through.
Right. All right.
I would say rejoice, because we're a very rejoiceful, we're a rejoiceful community. I would say community. And I will continue saying love. We show, what as Latinos do is show everything through love.
Right.
And I think that we are very expressive, even the way we're laughing and the way we're all connecting. We're one, like no matter what. And I think that love is so important. And I would say that because love can fix anything, anything. And yes, we do need more help. I did Shoes That Fit. And we donate. My mom donates to the church in Honduras. We actually have a church in Honduras that feeds the children before they go to school every day. So I tied half of my money from my check over there, and I tied here as well. But when I went to Shoes That Fit, and I see those little kids that I actually put their sneakers on them, and how joyful they were, and how there is so much people that still need help here in New York, not only in the 3rd world countries, in New York. We have broken families, we have kids that still need to eat, we have so much going on here. So as a community, and as us being Latinos, we all need to stick together. That event to me was more than just shoes that fit. It was just I was just so taken back by stories, because I not only sat a little kid down, but I asked him for his name. I asked him how he's doing. I asked him how he's doing in school. Like, there was a dialogue that I was having with that child. It wasn't only about putting their feet in. And the stories I heard, I left like, just, my husband's like, what's wrong with you? You're so quiet today. And, we need to stick together, and we need to help out community.
Yes.
It's all about the community. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would say determination. We're Latinos, we're very determined. If you close one door, I'm gonna get through the window. If you close the window, I'm gonna go through the roof. We're very determined people, extremely. As I will also say, compassion. We will try to connect with you as much as possible. I'm an individual that I literally put myself in your shoe, and I'll give you advice to what's best for you. And as well, I would say, just like she said, community, because we can't help if you're not there for me, and I'm not there for myself, and I'm not there for you, how we're gonna succeed in life. So
Awesome. I love that. And I think each and every one of you dynamic women for taking the time out of your busy days, because I know it's busy, to have this conversation and enlighten the people and the world about your community and your heritage, and just, express that fun and that life and that love through this.
Yes. Yes.
What's happening right now. So if you want to find these ladies and support them, all three of them work here in the Nordstrom Manhattan flagship store here in New York City.
yes.
So until next time, stand back. As Jasmine said, take a step back
Yes.
and look at everything as a whole.
Yeah.
And enjoy your roses right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.